Welcome to Scriptural Snapshots, brought to you by Living Faith Ministries in Kaiser, West Virginia, where we bring the living Word of God into your life. And I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. We're starting a new series this week called The Belt of Truth, and it's based on Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 20, what we refer to as the armor of God. But I'm not going to approach it as a typical armor of God. I'm going to approach it in different ways. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11, Paul tells us, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So this is a real statement from Paul, put on the whole armor of God. In chapter 6, verse 14, he says, stand therefore having girded your waist with truth. And this truth is the belt of truth. Now, I want to share a word of the Lord that we had just Sunday, September the 5th, with you, and I won't share the whole thing. It's on our website, it's on my YouTube page, and I'll probably put it up on the church page here in a little bit, or my Facebook page. But he spoke to us and said, while the world seeks to destroy my people, declares God, yet I am raising my people up to a higher level of visibility, a higher level of influence. For the world is beginning to look toward the church, and they're asking, what are you going to do? Because they know if the people of God do not stand, if the people of God yield to the pressures that come against them, what hope does the world have? So they're looking to my people, says God, to see what you will do in this time and in this hour. That's an awesome word of the Lord, and it's why it's so important today for the church to take a stand, to not be mealy-mouthed, to not be weak. There's people, Christians over in Afghanistan right now that are literally being killed, martyred for the faith. It goes on in other countries. Christianity is the most persecuted religious body in the earth. And no matter what others might try to tell you, it's not Christians doing the persecuting, it is the Christians being persecuted. So this is real important for our time today of standing. And again, Ephesians 6:11, Paul says, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So he's addressing, how do you dress yourself in the armor of God? And we're talking about the belt of truth out of 6:14. Stand fast, therefore, having girded your waist with truth. This truth is the belt of truth. Now, a lot of times when people talk about the armor of God, they're talking about, we have this belt. Listen, I don't want to get into the different parts of the armor, the way that they traditionally approach this, but I'm looking at the truth. The truth is so important, this belt of truth, because it's not just a belt, it's truth. And every other piece of armor rests on that truth. It attaches itself to it. And if you don't have the truth, then all the other pieces of armor get loose and they fall apart and they fall down, and they're not there when you need them because you're not grounded in the truth. Again, every other piece of armor is based on the truth, on this belt that God has given to us. And we are called to stand with the whole armor of God. In Ephesians 6:10, Paul starts out this section about the armor, and he says, finally. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the end of his final 15 points. It's not his closing in that way, but it is a closing that he's saying, this is a summation of everything I've just said to you, of all that's in Ephesians. He said, this is my conclusion. And he said, I want you to get this point. If you don't get anything else, get this point. Having stood fast, put on the whole armor of God that you may stand against the wiles in the evil day. Put on this belt of truth. See, this is a closing point Paul is saying, and he says, I really want you to understand what I'm telling you. And so he gets into the armor of God, which is teaching them how to stand against the wiles of the devil. It's the truth that makes us strong. It's a truth that sets us free. And you and I need that truth in our lives for every other thing to work and function properly. We need the belt of truth to stand in this day. I'm Pastor Gordon Brubaker. God bless you.